Hello everyone, this is DM Gashbad. I'm going to be bringing you something a little bit different today. It's not exactly going to be a battle report, but it's going to be a brief recap of a demo game, or an intro game if you'd rather, of the Marvel Universe Miniatures game that I played recently. Now, I'm going to apologize up front. I didn't take a lot of pictures, that's why it's not going to be a full battle report. I didn't expect this to be as involved as it was. I thought I was only going to get about 45 minutes to play this game, and it may only involve one or two people. It turned out to be a lot better than that. It went about 2.5 hours. I had several people come in and out of the game. Anyway, it was a lot better than I thought it would be. So initially I didn't take pictures of the game, but once I saw that it was actually going pretty well, I started taking pictures, so I'll bring those to you. Also, I didn't actually follow all my rules for the actual scenario because I thought it was going to be really brief and I just wanted to get going. So that'll come up later on. I'll bring that up when we get to that point. But if you're interested, I'm using a scenario that I created called the Marvel Mangle, and there's a video where I explain the rules to that. I'll put a link to it in the description down below, and of course that's on my channel, so if you want to check that out, go ahead. Anyway, essentially it's King of the Hill, although I like to compare it to WWE's Royal Rumble. It's a multiplayer scenario, and people take turns drawing random characters that'll show up on the edges, and at the end of each round they get a point for every character they have on the central objective, which in this case is a helipad. Alright, so let's get right into it. I was the person who drew my die first, so I chose a character randomly and I got Sabretooth. Sabretooth's pretty good because he's pretty fast, so I was able to run up and pounce onto the helipad and start scoring points immediately. My opponent, let's call him player C, there's 3 of us, he randomly generates Daredevil. Daredevil, along the same lines, he has his grapple stick, so he was able to throw that and get onto the helipad as well. He didn't want to get too near Sabretooth because, as I said, I was going to scratch his eyes out, but of course he's Daredevil, so he doesn't mind that much. Anyway, he kept his distance, and we moved on to player L. We'll call him player L, and he randomly generates Vision. So Vision's the strongest guy on the board right now, so we're a little bit concerned, but he's also a bit of a slower mover, so he drifts over, doesn't quite make it onto the helipad, and player C and myself start getting some points. Now I mess up a little bit, and I forget that technically I'm the person that is supposed to draw the next character. Instead, we draw a die, and player C is the person who draws the next character. That's okay, because I don't care if I'm handicapped. I'm running the game. I don't need to do particularly well. But anyway, he draws his random character and he gets Rogue. So Rogue flies up into the center to help out Daredevil, and we start getting into a fight. Daredevil starts coming up and scratching people, and that's going pretty well. But then we get to the problem, and the problem was, in my scenario, I say, you should take out all the most powerful characters. You should take out all the characters around level 13 and above. And you should stick them all together, shuffle them up, and put them in the center of the deck. And that does 2 things. First off, it means that you don't get these really powerful characters until about the middle of the game. It also means that one person doesn't get all the most powerful characters. Well, I didn't bother doing that. Again, I thought this was going to be a really short game, so we just took all the characters and we shuffled them together, which means that player L adds the Sentry to his force. So he's got Vision and Sentry, and then that gets to be a bit of a problem. So anyway, it's my turn next. I get to draw a new character. I draw Black Panther. I'm thinking, well, that's not fantastic. Black Panther's not really going to help me out against the Sentry, but hey, I got 2 people with claws. Black Panther infiltrates and ends up on the other side of Vision, and we start scratching him up, and actually I'm pretty pleased by that. Now, player C gets his character next, and he gets Deadpool. So Deadpool shows up to his theme music. He's looking to get his chimichangas from the taco truck on the far side of the board, which you can't see, unfortunately. But he starts wandering up to help out his team. So right here in this picture, you can see right before Deadpool arrives, You've got Sentry wandering up, ready to start laying down some hurt. You've got my guys, Black Panther and Sabretooth, teaming up to try to take down Vision and his comrade. And then on the far side, you have Daredevil. Daredevil's trying to just seem inconspicuous. He's trying to keep way away from these super fights. But Rogue is doing real well. We'll get back to her, but she's throwing down some pretty good punches herself. For example, she's going to go and help out Vision, and she's going to pick up Sabretooth, and she's going to throw him straight at Sentry. Sentry fails his dodge. Both those guys are knocked down. That's more or less going to be the end of Sabretooth. Sentry's going to get up and just step on his face, and Sabretooth will have to spend some time regenerating to get up from that one. Black Panther decides he's had about enough of this. He tries to make a little bit of a hasty retreat. Sentry wanders over there, starts beating up on Vision. I think he actually picks up and throws Rogue into Daredevil. Daredevil's really hurt at this point. But Rogue, like the trooper she is, she just flies straight back, picks up Sentry, and tosses him off the helipad so that he can't score. Now we get to another problem with me not separating out all those cards, because player L, after drawing Sentry in his second pick, now he draws Magneto. And Magneto wanders up very regally, floating in from the side of the board, and he picks up a shipping container and tosses it Rogue, but of course Rogue is a boss, and she nimbly dodges out of the way. In the very next phase, I pull up Ares, and so I'm really happy about that. Ares wanders up, he picks up a shipping container of his own, and he tosses it at Rogue, and Rogue, for the second time in the same round, just nimbly steps out of the way and avoids that thing. Player C gets his next draw, and he gets Iron Man, which isn't really going to help him out that much, but he can fly up and start scoring points immediately. Now, down at the very bottom, we can barely see Daredevil's base after Sentry flies up and uses his lead kick ability to knock him off the helipad. The board is getting a bit cleared by this point, you can see here too. Daredevil's in bad shape. I think Vision has been knocked out. Sabretooth, of course, is gone. We have Black Panther and Deadpool teaming up on Sentry. He's not going to last long either, but of course he's going to come back. Meanwhile, Magneto wanders up to the helipad, and he very casually picks up the helicopter and sends its rotors spinning straight across both Black Panther and Deadpool. Black Panther's not worried, he somersaults out of the way, but Deadpool catches the helicopter to the face for a couple of damage. And then we find out that player L, now remember, we've beat up Vision at this point, but Sentry is still wandering around. Magneto is now on the helipad, causing problems. Magneto, of course, is going to try to toss Iron Man around, but Iron Man's a smart guy. He didn't show up to this with his normal metal armor. He's using his carbon fiber armor as well, so he'll be okay. Magneto missed his role against his physical defense. And then we find out that his next draw is going to be the Hulk. So he's got the top two characters in the Marvel game, not including Thanos, which I don't own. But anyway, that's not looking great for us. So Hulk bounds up, and you can see him here after doing his super jump to say hello to my two characters, Ares and Black Panther. You can see we've actually taken down Sentry at this point, and he's come back on the board to cause more problems. This is him after just tossing, I think, Iron Man off the helipad. He spends most of his time doing lead kicks. He's kicked Black Panther off the table. He's just kicking everyone off the helipad and trying to score points for himself. So we've got Sentry and Hulk for Team L, and so me and Team C have decided we're going to make a little bit of an alliance. We can't do anything to Hulk, really, and we can't really do anything to Sentry, but Magneto sure is a tempting target. So we've knocked him down, and you can see Deadpool here introducing him to some carbon fiber katanas, because, of course, if they were metal, Magneto would be able to manipulate them. But we're spending all our efforts to try and take care of him. Well, maybe not all our efforts. Ares does take a break and actually pick up the Hulk, because he's just barely strong enough, and toss him off the table. Now, the Hulk does manage to get up and wander back on. We knock him down again. I like this little maneuver. Black Panther actually moved up to the knockdown Hulk. We threw a character at him. Scratches him a couple times, then uses Pounce to get away again really fast. Deadpool manages to finish off Magneto. Sentry's still doing his Sentry thing. He just kicked off Iron Man. You can see him down in the corner there. I get my final draw. We're about reaching the time limit that we set for this game, and I get Hawkeye. Well, that's kind of a joke, but Hawkeye's actually not bad for this because he does have his hook arrow, which means that he can zip himself back up onto the helipad and at least score points. Right here you can see Deadpool has moved up to Sentry. We found out that Deadpool was just strong enough to toss Sentry off the helipad, probably grabbing him by his cape and whipping him around, but he didn't come up with the numbers. Sentry managed to dodge that attack, which could have changed the outcome of the game. So anyway, this was a really fun game. This is how the game finished up. You see a knockdown Hulk and Sentry for Team L scoring points. You see myself looking pretty strong there with Hawkeye, Ares, and Black Panther hanging out. And Team C struggled a bit. All he's got is Deadpool left on the helipad with Iron Man badly hurt outside the ring. Anyway, it ended up Team L won. He had a pretty good draw and he did real well. But I came in second and Team C came in third. But the nice thing was that we were all exactly 1 point away from each other. So it was a really close, fun game. And there were a lot of really nice moments throughout. Again, I want to say kind of the MVP was Rogue for punching way above her strength. She took a lot of hits, she dodged a lot of attacks, and she was a monster just tossing people around. Obviously, Sentry got a lot of work done. Between his throw and his lead kick, he just kind of wandered around the table and just bumped people off to keep them from scoring. And so that was a neat trick. But there were just a lot of comic book style moments. I really enjoy the Marvel Universe miniatures game. So if you haven't checked out my video describing this scenario, go and take a look. Maybe I'll run this thing again and I'll do a proper battle report. But that's about all for now. Anyway, thanks for watching and I'll see you on the next one.